Good morning, guys. While we're working on survival, I am going to plant these beans. Also, I got another way to save on potting soil I'm going to show you. I think most of the people I've talked with have a problem in affording all this potting mix, fertilizer, and all the other things that goes along with gardening. They think that if you plant your plants, a lot of people think that if you plant the plants, you leave them alone, they'll grow by themselves. I wish, but unfortunately, that's not how it goes. Lately, I've discovered that my new in-ground pot mix that I'm doing right now is working good for my plants, and it's saving me so much money. Okay, take a good look in this shovel. This is the key. This is the key right here. It looks like a little snake, but it's an earthworm. I found a spot in my yard in a ditch that has rich soil and it's full of earthworms. So I get some of that soil. I borrow from nature. I borrow from nature so it can continue in my garden. Look at there. Full of earthworms that looks like snake, but be careful. I'm not saying that you might not run up on snake, but most of the things in the ground, you know what an earthworm looks like. He has a band around his neck and he has those ridges. I'm sure you know what a snake looks like. A snake is not going to be in the ground like this. I haven't come across them in the ground like this. So this is where a lot of leaves were. Sometimes I burn the leaves in this little ditch area, and the next year it's loaded with earthworms, and that's what I'm doing now. That's why I've been getting most of my soil this spring to fill up my garden beds. I guess you would call it a form of vermiculture, where they use worms to enrich the soil, or either vermicomposting. Yeah, you can amend the soil with the worm casting, and worm tea. So I guess I'm gonna be doing both this year. So far it's been working. My plants have been loving it. My garden has been producing like crazy. So I get a bunch of buckets and fill them up as many as I need, because this ditch is long, and the leaves and everything that I burn from season to season, they put back. They give back. Look at that big joker right there. Woo. You would confuse him with a snake. These earthworms are fat, and they scary, and they move real fast. They call these night crawlers. I've been knowing what to look for ever since I've been a little girl fishing. We use night crawlers in the country to fish with down here in the south. So this is how I search for night crawlers. I just move the leaves to the side, and then if I see a snake, I got a shovel in my hand, and I'm not afraid to use it. Well, I think this bucket is full enough. I'm gonna take this and put it in that container where I'm getting ready to plant my beans for the summer beans. So each time I get ready to top off my garden beds, I come over here and get some of this black gold, make my soil living. If you look up in the sky, pretty blue skies, but it looks like it's getting ready to rain. So it'll probably be tomorrow when I plant these beans. I got some beans, some summer beans, that I'm getting ready to put in that container. I'm gonna show you my container first. So I got a container. I've used this container, but I'm gonna use it again. Put some broke twigs, leaves, and some old garden soil, and I'm gonna put the soil that I got in the bucket in the bottom. Probably have to do 2 trips. So I got about this container 1/3 full. I just got some of my garden soil from the the garden beds, and I hadn't even put the living soil in it with the earthworms. So I'm just gonna continue to fill it up with what I got, dump the soil in I've collected, and I'll top it off with some more. This is some grass clippings I got beside the compost pile. These are old grass clippings. I forgot about those. Those earthworms would love this with some brown leaves to go with it. So So we're gonna fill that tub up, that container up a little bit more. Then we put the living soil in and probably a couple of inches of big box store potting mix. These are the beans that I'll be planting, my bumbo beans. These are the beans, some beans that I'm trying. They say they survive in drought-like conditions. We're gonna soak some overnight, probably like 10 beans, and we're gonna plant them and see what they do. You know, on second thought, I'll just put these beans in here and just let them soak. I don't think we have to let these beans soak overnight. If they just soak for a while, just like you cooking regular beans, I think they'll be okay to plant because it's gonna rain. So here, I soaked them for a few hours, and we're gonna put them in, take them out there and put them in the container. They should come up. If not, I'll just start some on the inside. They do better when I start them on the inside anyways. Okay, everything is ready. Here you see me planting the beans. I got about like 8 to 10 beans I'm going to put in, and it's supposed to be from 5 to 8 days for them to come up. I keep you guys updated on the progress, but after I plant them, I top them off with a little soil on top so the birds won't find them and eat them, and then I give them a little soak of water. Even though it's getting ready to rain, it might not rain that much, so let me put some water in, soak them pretty good. So this has been a very good way for me to restructure my soil, loosen up some of that clayness, that clay soil, and fertilize my soil at the same time, giving this soil air to breathe, and then giving a dose of fertilizer with the worm castings. So probably about $4 I did this. Okay, we planted these beans, and we're gonna let them sit until 5 to 8 days before I videotape it again, because it said 5 to 8 days. I'm hoping that they sprout before then because I soaked them. That should speed it up a little bit. But that's it, guys, for the beans. If you found this video to be helpful, please consider sharing, subscribing, and drop a comment or a like. Just give me some interaction, and I appreciate you. Until next time, you all be blessed. Y'all, I hope that y'all appreciate me coming out here in the late afternoon, giving y'all a view of my corn. This is the same thing I've done to the corn bed, and I moved some cowpeas next to the corn, and I did the same thing to that bed. So you can see for yourself, everything is growing pretty good. This corn is just almost 5 feet tall, and I mean, it has stressed so quickly. So that works. I did the soil the same way I'm doing with the beans, so hopefully the beans grow just as fast. Look at that. They're doing real good.